a very important thing for everyone to understand is the technology, AI, automation around us is going to be there in a very large way. And the sooner we prepare for it, the sooner we prepare our students for. Probably, if I was a parent, I compensate the screen time for the TV time. So I don't let them watch that much time TV if they spend X amount of time. Probably, I hope parents, start doing that. I advise everyone because you cannot stop them from learning now, right?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a whole new episode of Engati CX. I'm your host, Aish, and today, folks, you're in for a treat. But before I introduce you to our guests, allow me to introduce you to the magic of Engati. Engati is the world's leading multilingual no-code chatbot platform, available across 14 channels with 35,000 bots, created across 186 countries in every domain and use case. Engati has also been recognized as a top platform by Inc.com, TechWorld, CIO, and many others. We run the Engati blog, video channel, and the Engati CX podcast, receiving upwards of 400,000 visitors annually. And now for our guest. Anand Chawla is the Director of Information Technology at Podar Education Network. With over 20 years of experience in the field of IT, he is a technological leader. He plays a key role in developing the technological vision, infrastructure, policies, and practices required to support Podar Education's network's commitment to using IT effectively in an integrated manner, both instructional and administrative functions. He's also carried out the largest execution of ebooks for the students with the creation of more than 150 ebooks, along with determining the need for learners, defining the objectives and goals of the instruction. But before we dive into our interview with Anand, don't forget to subscribe to the Engati channel and tap the bell icon to get access to exclusive content from thought leaders from across the globe. So welcome to the show, Anand. We're so thrilled to have you here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
So let's dive into our first question. How can educational institutes use IT effectively in an integrated manner for both educational and administrative purposes?
I feel the AI, automation, data analytics, virtual augmented reality will drive technology in education in a very big way. You know that necessity and reasoning actually drives the technology forward, and if the technology is not purpose built, like it has to solve a purpose, it has to, fulfill a requirement, then only it is used. Otherwise, it just stays unused because these all technologies have been around us, but people are still trying and, finding out what's the way moving forward. So in today's world, education, as you know, especially now, past 6 months, everything is technology driven. And the even before the pandemic struck, so you saw the technology aspects like VR, virtual reality, augmented reality were in place, wherein students sitting in this classroom is actually exploring the Arctic expedition of scientists in Arctic, just while sitting in the classrooms, confines of their classrooms. So yes, as I said, technology is there, but there has to be a purpose around it. And when we find purpose, when there is a necessity to use it, that's where it's going to be really, that's going to really cause a big evolution, revolution, you could say, instead of evolution there. So also what you can also see that in olden days, teacher was considered to be a primary source of information, teacher along with the books. It's changed now. You've got like World Wide Web around us, which has got a lot of information, right and wrong, basically. So I feel the new role of teacher in education is actually creating instructional materials, with the help of information around her, so that she can explain the children what's right, wrong, and also make it engaging, so that it motivates them to learn at the end of the day. So I think that's the time we are looking at where there's a big things happening in technology in a very large manner, probably reaching a point of anytime, anywhere learning. That's what I feel that's where things were moving, and now actually in 6 months have moved much faster than actually we all anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I feel personally on that aspect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's incredible how much the ed tech space has shifted since the pandemic.
Yes, teachers
So,
have surprised everyone, so
mhm,
that's the best part. So,
definitely. So, what effect has the pandemic had on the education system exactly, and how well had institutes adopted the concepts of e-learning?
so as I said, everything is happening online now, and what issues have happened now is that there are different forms of learning come in here. So you've got synchronous learning, wherein in a layman's language, a live learning probably, it's like how you do an offline learning in the classroom where
Mhm.
you're in person. That's changed to something happening on the video, right? Like how you and me are having it on live probably right now,
Mhm.
wherein the response and reactions are instant, so that so a lot of parents, when I say parents, is because when you are in a younger age group, parents are the ones who are taking decision for their children till grade 4, 5, or 6 also, some of them. So they actually prefer the synchronous learning because they feel that the onus is on the teacher and the student there. The teacher is responsible to maintain discipline. The teacher is uh, responsible to answer the queries. The teacher is responsible to control everything,
Mhm.
which can be very challenging and is very challenging for teachers. If you read across, teachers have faced bizarre incidents online while teaching. Everybody has seen that and all. So that's a synchronous way. So that's one form of learning which the schools are imparting and the students and parents are looking at. The other aspect which is works with some schools is where they're doing asynchronous, like a synchronous with the a prefix, wherein you've got the same lesson which is recorded and which can be replayed back, and which you've got your assessments offline. I mean, offline means online, but you're doing at your own convenience
Yeah.
basically. And what works out best for that way is every parent has a couple of children and they all are working at home. So live learning doesn't work out with them because there'll be clash of devices, sharing of devices, internet connections, uh, space actually to study. In metros and all, it's premium uh, to have that kind of space. And also, so uh, such parents actually don't prefer to have a live learning. They prefer to have a asynchronous learning
Mhm.
there. So it's a mixed, as I said, there are mixed forms of learning going on there. But as I said, the more dependency on the technology is due to the hardware, like a device as well as internet. So, and also simultaneously, we are seeing that there's a big trend wherein a lot of percentage of students are learning to are able to self-learn, adapt via videos and all. So, but mind you, it's overwhelming. The situation today is overwhelming for students. So the teacher's role becomes equally important uh, in order to make sure that these different forms of learning are adapted quickly. But when you say edtech institutes, are you talking of like the vendors, or are you talking of the schools? So when you are you talking from a vendor point of view, like what could they offer us in form of learning, or you're talking of the institutes as a school? The later part of the question, what you had, I just needed to understand that.
In both senses, like both as a vendor point of view and also on the people on the receiving end, like how is it changing for them?
So I think, yeah, you're right. I think the institutes, whether it's a tech company or an organization running a school, as I earlier said, it has the technology has to be purpose built. So right now the problem is learning online, right? So I feel they should work on creating a blended learning model wherein you've got part learning happening live, part learning happening offline, and similarly, whatever you're learning at home on your own, probably have a structured way to gauge an assessment to gauge what they're learning and help them to adapt based on the percentage of responses they get from the students. So kind of leading you to a personalized learning platform. So that's what. we keep hearing it. But there has to be a proper algorithm going behind it in identifying that what would help a child to fulfill his or her means with the help of technology. So that's what I feel from my point of view.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I guess asynchronous learning would be ideal. In an ideal world, that would work perfectly, but I think right now it's about striking that balance between synchronous and asynchronous. And I think that blended learning is really what's going to enhance. And also with blended learning with techniques such as personalization would really help students and also vendors in a way.
Yeah,
So
I
I
agree with.
so I wanted to know, what role does your Engati chatbot play in the Podar Education Network's digital functioning? How does it help make things more effective and efficient?
One of the most exciting projects we implemented actually. So as you explained in my introduction, and I would just reiterate it, that we are a group of 135 schools, and we are in diverse locations, geographically spread across. And for an example, an institution our size receives on an average 35,000 interactions in a month.
Mhm.
So so imagine if I was doing this, uh, you know, manually. I cannot do that. We I think last year we shifted on to a platform which was not Engati, an alternate platform, wherein we started very basic auto queries to parents, like an FAQ questions to parents answer. But after shifting to Engati, we've seen that a lot of questions, obviously, we are asked are very generic. Like
Mhm.
what's your curriculum? Give us your brochure, and what are your timings? What are your school fees? What is the school strength, etc. These are the 7, 8, or 10 basic questions, and we've noticed that if these are not answered on the spot, we lose a prospective student there. So that's where
Mhm.
we've seen. And if humans are involved here, like imagine if I had 135 schools and I cannot have 135 people answering those queries, or even if I make it centralized, like I have a call center, attending calls of parents, 5, 10 people calling. But again, we don't have that much work for them throughout the year. We may have for 4 months, 5 months. So there is a frequency of how it works, in the number of calls we get in are seasonal, when the schools are about to start, or probably ending in the academic year and all. So what we've noticed that is with AI bot, especially Engati, we which also gives us the flexibility of going live with the person in chat.
Mhm.
So if the person is available, there is a live chat happening. If the person is not available, then there's a bot chatting with you, giving you details on the inquiry. And it worked very well for us because we kept on adding to the database the unanswered questions. So there were a lot of unanswered questions of parents, which a bot fails to answer automatically. Like an AI bot. So what we've seen is over a period of time, the questions have unanswered questions have reduced, obviously. Because of that, we are saving on manpower. We just have 2 people doing live chat instead of 8, 10, what we used to do earlier. And
Mhm.
the biggest advantage we've seen is what we did was we went one step further. We integrated the chatbot with our inquiry form. So what happened was each parent who inquires with us on, Engati, we created a lead of that parent in our software. And from there, the school counselor was handling the queries with the parents by calling up directly. So, as such,
Mhm.
every contact which comes on the website via Engati also, it's getting triggered in our own systems. So basically completing the entire cycle from the point of view when the parent comes online, chats on Engati, then go that data flows to our systems, that turns into an like a potential student, you know converts into a student, and then obviously the student joins us. And we went one more step further. When this lockdown happened, there is no way the student parent could enter the school to pay fees also. So we
Mhm.
automated right from inquiry to get becoming the student of Podar, everything automated online. So he takes inquiry, automatically gets a fee payment link. He fills up the form with all details. He becomes a student. He gets a username, password for the learning management system and the live classes. So right from the engagement of inquiring on the bot on the website till he becoming our student. That entire cycle actually works so well right now for us. It's 3 4 months. We've been uh, realizing that this is something which is purpose built, having a bot which is answering the questions to parents at any time anywhere kind of thing. We've seen people inquiring at 2 in the morning about the school, people inquiring at 7 in the morning, where it's physically not possible to keep people online on the calls because the frequency may not be that much.
Right.
So I think I think this is a technology which is there to remain. And it's there for we probably we would scale it up to have answering to our own parents' queries which keep coming to us, who are our existing parents. Again, they ask similar questions to us. Okay, when is the exam? When are the vacations happening? In spite of they being there on the site, sometimes people don't want to read through 10, 15 pages of information. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where Engati has really helped us, and the ease of launching it to integrating it to the site, to integration with the live, in-person chat. I think it's one of the best I have seen. Personally, we went through 7 8 systems. It was easy, so everybody is doing the same thing, but it was easy to start it up, launch it up, and the team has been flexible in making minor changes for us. So uh, that's our experience on the bots. Is not much. It's 1.5 year with different bots, but yeah, with Engati, 3 4 months has been really impressive so far.
That's incredible. I can't believe that ed tech like institutes are becoming more and more contactless with the help of chatbots. Like I wouldn't have thought that you could both start and end the process towards getting a sale with the chatbot in terms of education. Because education's kind of a personal thing. We're used to parents coming into schools and talking about the curriculum and things like that, but having a chatbot to answer those questions like immediately, that's incredible stuff.
It's worked out really well. So, I think it's very underutilized in schools yet. The chatbot, it's a very powerful tool. It's
Mm-hmm.
very underutilized, I feel.
Yes. So, moving on to my next question, how important is it for companies to invest in suitable infrastructure to meet their technological vision?
So, it's 21 years for me in the same organization. This was my first job when I started here. And I think the biggest thing this organization, when I say as Podar Education Network, has done is invested in right technology from day one. And so, more than investments, it's very important to understand that why you want that thing, why you want this technology in the organization, and looking forward at the vision that, okay, after, so I didn't know 20 years back that we'll have 135 schools. When I started, we had 2 schools, right? So there's a good amount of planning which goes in identifying the vision, technological vision, what you see in the organization, which is actually on the paper and based on how you're going to grow in next 3 years to 5 years. So it's very important that the any organization, whether it's education or anyone you speak to, if uh, if they plan the growth of the company, there has to be considerable amount of planning to be done on technology. After today's scenario, so it's mandatory. So if you see everybody is online, you and me have never met. We are just chatting online right now. You're interviewing me online. Most of these interviews I have done used to happen in person, face to face, or a
Mhm.
recorded version of it and all. So that's how things are changing, and so it's very important to plan that what you want to do 3 years down the line. And we have small targets, so we set up targets every 3 years, that okay, after 3 years this is what we see our organization to be at, the technological vision. And there is considerable amount of investment obviously involved here, both in manpower as well as capital expenditure on the same. So sometimes you have to be ahead, and that's how that's how it takes us. Like 10 years back, we moved all our servers from offline to online on the cloud, wherein the internet connection in India was so poor. So,
Mhm.
but we took the risk of doing that. So it helped us to sit at a head office and monitor all those schools, databases, their report cards, their library cards, everything. The database became centralized. In short,
Mhm.
so you had more power, you had more live, analysis done of the data and all. So everybody told us that time that no, I think what you're doing is the wrong thing. But when we realized that okay, 10 years, 5 years vision, what we had was double growth, triple growth. So we realized we cannot do an offline setup at all, and so we started, finding a solution. Okay, we went for an alternative internet connection. So every school started having, two connections, so that if one breaks down, we fall back on the other one. And somehow it went on. It worked out really well because handling 135 schools offline servers would have been nightmare today.
Oh my God. Yeah.
We wouldn't have been able to manage them. Imagine if I want to load one software, I have to access 135 machines
Mhm.
and start doing it today. So yeah, it's very important to understand what's the vision of the organization, and along with that vision, build a technology vision. Because as you grow, technology becomes more and more, important, and for all your work, for all your departments. It's not only your computer department; it's the every department. So that's what I feel. I mean, that's worked out really well for us, planning ahead, and getting the right, obviously, people working with us, a good team, basically.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, you've made some pretty outstanding moves in terms of implementing new tech. Like you mentioned the chatbots, and you mentioned moving to cloud. I didn't personally know how. I mean, I knew how it is, but in terms of using this and an ed tech center, that's pretty incredible stuff.
Um, as I said, it's a planning, it's the vision they had. So it all fell in place
Mhm.
pretty well.
That's incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, moving on to my final question, are there any other thoughts you'd like to share with our audience?
So what happens is, before this pandemic happened, every parent was scared to give technology in the hands of children, right? And somehow they all know that things, after you pass out from your school, everything is happening on the computer. But sometimes at a very young age, they prevent students from having a lot of screen time. But a very important thing for everyone to understand is, the technology, AI, automation around us is going to be there in a very large way. And the sooner we prepare for it, the sooner we prepare our students for. Probably, if I was a parent, I compensate the screen time for the TV time. So I don't let them watch that much time TV if they spend X amount of time. Probably, I hope parents, start doing that. I advise everyone, because you cannot stop them from learning now, right? So
Mhm.
some children are learning completely online. So have, these all things are there, they are needed, and it's very important that we embrace it and use it to our advantage,
Mhm.
rather than use it just for playing games, or just for recreational purpose, like if that's the right word and all. So I think that's what I feel. Every parent should understand that it's moving forward. Technology is the one which will drive us. And I would like to end with a nice quote, which I always say. I love the quote, because you need to get learning to the people, and let the people choose and decide in what way they want to learn,
Mhm.
rather than doing the vice versa of it. So you cannot force the children to study. So let them learn the other way. So that's what I think, and that's how I think, after the situation improves, also we'll see changes happening around us. If not, they've happened, but there'll be a larger change coming in, because people have adapted to a way of life with technology
Mhm.
around them.
Definitely. I think also learning kind of starts at such a young level, and if you're preparing the younger generation to do carry out to follow learning techniques that were more relevant 40 to 50 years ago, it doesn't really make sense. So I completely agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah.
Cool. So thank you so much for giving us your time, Anand. These insights that you've provided with us are really valuable, and I know our audience is really going to join this interview. So we'll be back with a new episode with a brand new expert soon. So stay tuned, and we'll see you around for the next one. Thank you so much, Anand.
Thank you.